DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today is Friday, July 31st. You'll be watching this video on Saturday, August the 1st. This is Q&A number 81. Do this every 10 on this week. It works very simply. I read the comments from the previous week's Q&A. I respond to those questions here in this video that I'm making right now. And then this video becomes the next Q&A. If you got questions that you want me to address, you leave them in the comments to this video. I'll address them for next week's Q&A. Don't respond to anybody else's questions. Just leave them there until I get to them next week. That's the only ground rule. And think out your questions. Don't ask me no dumb shit. Ask me something that you actually thought about so that you get a thoughtful response. And it can be useful to other people that's watching, not just for yourself. So now let's get right into it without any wasted time. B Breezy says, I love your videos. Keep it up. He says, does lifting weights mess up your shot? I developed a good jumper from high school, 3-point line, and closer in. But I want to get NBA shooting range. I guess the NBA 3-point line is what he means. So I began lifting weights 2 weeks ago and didn't play basketball. I came back to play and I couldn't shoot, period. It was crazy. It's like somebody took my ability to shoot. Is it because of rust or is it because of lifting weights? Thanks again. Well, B Breezy, you could kind of treat this like a scientist and just do it as a science experiment. And when scientists do experiments, they change one variable at a time and then do the exact same thing. Everything else stays the same so they can see what is it that's actually causing the change. So you changed two things at the same time, and then there was a change. So now you don't know if it was thing one, which was lifting, or thing two, which was not playing basketball. So what you can do is go and start playing basketball all the time and lift weights, and then you'll see if lifting weights cause a change. Or you can go and the other thing was just lift weights. Well, you already tried lifting weights and not playing basketball. So obviously that didn't work. So you could try just playing basketball and not lifting weights and see if that gets your shot back to where it was. But to answer your question overall, your challenge overall, which was developing further range on your jump shot, lifting weights will help because you need total body strength to shoot from further away. It's not about any one particular muscle. But if you stop shooting, if you stop playing basketball, period, of course your basketball game is going to get worse. Only way you can stay good at basketball is by actually playing basketball. So you need both. Strength training and lifting weights. It's not one or the other. You need both. Next question. Balling like the Raptor. He says, I want to know how old you were when you went on your first date. Well, dating in the traditional sense, I probably didn't actually do a traditional date till I was like in college or something, 18, 19 years old. But I was talking to girls before that. But official dates, probably not till college. Bob Johnson says, seems like I always miss long on 3-point shots despite the fact that I can make mid-range shots and free throws. He's wondering, do I have any tips that can help him fix that? Yeah, you can practice more until you start making them, and also read the Pro Shot Shooting Handbook, which I have free on my website, DreAllDay.com/list, L-I-S-T. You can get that and my book, Buy a Game for free. Roy Davis says, I'm trying out for my high school basketball team. I'm about to be a junior. I'm 16, 6'1". I'm worried about going to the tryouts and getting stuck under the basket because I'm taller than most. All right. First problem is he's worried, but there's more to the question. I understand that at my height in college and the NBA, I will play point guard or shooting guard. So should I just play under the basket for my school, or should I work outside and play more like how I usually play, which is not down low in the post? Well, Roy, first of all, you haven't even gone to tryouts yet, so you're already time traveling. You're projecting into the future what you think is going to happen, and it didn't even happen yet. It's causing you to be worried and concerned about something that hasn't even taken place. So the 100% of this problem has nothing to do with height, has nothing to do with the other players, has nothing to do with college or the NBA or the coach in high school. The whole problem is created by you. You are 100% of the problem because you're creating an issue, something to worry about that hasn't even happened yet. So stop worrying about what's going to happen in the future. Focus on what you're doing today, which is working on your game and being as good of a player as you can be, whatever that happens to be, whatever your game is, so that when you get to tryouts, whatever the coach asks you to do, you're capable of doing it. So don't try to project what you think the coach is going to do. Don't try to project what position you're going to play in the NBA because you're 16. You're not even in college yet. So stop worrying about the NBA. Stop worrying about college. Worry about making the basketball team. Actually, don't worry at all. Focus on making the basketball team, which means work on your game so you're the best player that you can be. If you can play, Roy, no matter what position you are, if you can play, a coach is going to find a spot for you on the team. Even if you're a guard and you have guard skills, whatever you consider that to be, point guard skills, or you don't have traditional big man skills, if you can play, the coach is going to find a spot for you on the roster. So focus on being able to play, period. Not the NBA and not college. David says, I'm doing a Kyrie Irving signature program and the Ultimate Athlete, but his time in the gym is usually limited, and both of those programs are at hoophandbook.com if you don't know. My time in the gym is limited, and usually I only have an hour in the gym. I can't finish the Kyrie workouts in that hour. Is it okay for me to do as much as I can in an hour and then finish from where I started, finish from where I finished the next day? So basically pick up where he left off. Also, is it okay to do Ultimate Athlete workouts from future weeks and do a workout every day? All right, first of all, if you only have an hour in the gym and you can't finish your workout, then you have no choice but to pick up where you left off. So yes, that's okay to do. You can't finish one workout one day, just pick up where you left off the next day. As far as the Ultimate Athlete, and he says, is it okay to do workouts from future weeks and do a workout every day? I don't know what you mean by workouts from future weeks. Okay, what he's saying is this. With Ultimate Athlete, now understand this question. With Ultimate Athlete, there are off days in the program. There are days in the Ultimate Athlete program where you don't do a workout from the program because your body needs to rest and recover. So to answer your question, David, no, that's not okay. The reason it's not okay is not because I think that you're not capable of being able to work out every day. The reason is the program says take a day off, then you follow the program and take a day off. As simple as that. You can get results from the programs that I have if you follow the instructions of the program. Now, if you do something other than the instructions and you don't get the results, whether you do too much or you do too little or you do the wrong thing, then it's not my fault, it's not the program's fault or the website's fault. It's your fault for not following directions. So if the directions say take a day off, take a day off. It's as simple as that. D-Line says, how does pickup basketball help you when you play in a real game? Well, pickup basketball, it simulates a real game. It's the exact same thing. The only difference with a quote-unquote real game is you might have a coach, and then you got a time clock, and you got referees, but it's still 5-on-5 full-court basketball. And you already know that. I don't know why you asked that question. I don't understand what it is you want to get out of that question. I think you know basketball since you're asking. Ku Inshi says, he said, interesting time to upload. Why he considered that interesting, I don't know. Illest Mojo says, how can I get a guaranteed spot on the team? Like, short answer to that is you can't, but there's more to his question. Before end of school this past school year, 3 kids got told that they had a guaranteed spot on the team for next year. They weren't on the team that year, but they just got a guaranteed spot. So how can he get a guaranteed spot? Thanks for the videos and keep up the good work. Well, I don't know who those kids are. I don't know who your coach is or who guaranteed them the spot or if that's even factual information. It might just be something that you heard, which is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you just heard it through the grapevine from somebody else, which means it might not even be true at all. But even if they did, let's just assume that everything you said was true. The 3 kids got guaranteed a spot. You weren't one of those 3 kids, then it don't matter how they got guaranteed. It don't matter what they got or didn't get. Only thing you need to focus on is yourself. And if you didn't get a guaranteed spot, guess what? You got to earn it. Poor you. You got to earn the spot on the basketball team. So now you're like 99% of players who have to earn it. So go earn your spot. Worry about what you need to do, not what anybody else is doing. Cameron Johnson says, Dre, my AAU and high school team are filled with very good players. They're all over 6 feet tall. They're all very athletic. I'm only 5'5". I'm good enough to play on a team with them, but what can I do to stand out from them? Well, work on your game and be good. You said you're good enough, so go prove it. That's all you got to do. Darnell says, he put in parentheses, answer this one, please. I address every question in the Q&A, so you don't have to put answer this one, please. And also don't put please respond in your questions. It sounds like you're begging. But anyway, his question is, does having small hands affect ball handling and control? I'm 16. My hands are about 7 inches lengthwise. I keep losing the ball in transition and on drives when I do stuff on the move. I can do all the stationary drills, but none of it helps because you move when you dribble. Any tips or drills? All right, well, first of all, Darnell, he asked, does having small hands affect handling and control? Let's look at this question. Let's look at the situation from reality and then refer it to your question, reference your question. Let's just say that having small hands is a detriment to being a good ball handler. Let's just assume that that's correct. It's not, but let's just say that it is, okay? So if you have small hands, and I say, you know what, if you have small hands, it's going to hurt your chances of being a good ball handler. And let's just say that that's absolutely true. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to go buy bigger hands? Are you going to go buy some hand enhancement pills that are going to make your hands grow? What exactly are you going to do that's going to change the fact that your hands are quote-unquote small, whatever size your hands are? He said his hands are 7 inches in length. Players measure their hands now? What the fuck is that? I didn't know players measured their hands like that mattered. It's because even if you measure your hands and you know the exact length of them, what does it matter? What are you going to do to change it. There's one thing if you measure your vertical, you could work out and make your vertical higher. You measure how much weight you can lift. You can go to the gym and make yourself stronger and lift more weight, or you measure how many shots you can make in 10 minutes, because then you can work on it and make more shots in 10 minutes. But what can you do about the size of your hands? You can't do anything about it. So why are you measuring the size of your hands? And why do you care if having small hands affects ball handling and control? If you say, does it affect? Yes, everything affects everything. I mean, if you asking the question that way, having big hands affects ball handling too. It might make it harder for you because the ball is so big, it's harder for you to get that type of, let's say, quote unquote, fingertip control. Look at somebody like Shaquille O'Neal. He wasn't the greatest ball handler. His hands were huge. So it doesn't necessarily mean just because your hands are small, when we're talking relatively, when I use these terms small and big, because somebody else could have 7-inch hands, whatever the fuck that is, and they might think, hey, that's great. I have huge hands. My hands are 7 inches. Whereas somebody else will say 7 inches is small. So it doesn't matter if it affects it, because it ain't a damn thing you can do about it anyway, but work with what you got. So work with what you have. If what you have is hands that are 7 inches long, you know what you need to do? Work on your handle more. Wherever you're having problems in games with handling the ball, that's exactly what you need to be practicing. So you say you're good at doing the stationary drills, but you can't do the drills when you're moving, then guess what you should be doing? Drills when you're moving is $1 million answer, right? And you already know the answer to that. A lot of the times people are asking me these type of questions in these Q&As. You already know the answers. You just want somebody to tell you what to do. So there, I just told you what to do. Stop worrying about the size of your hands. Stop measuring your hands. Who the hell does that? I don't know if that's what y'all young people do these days. Measure the size of your hands. What are you going to do? Nothing. So go work on your game. Focus on what you can control, which is your game. Not the size of your hands or your height or any of the other bullshit. Linya Goyman says, when did you start playing basketball? I started playing basketball when I was 14. Take Flight 23. He said, Dre, I thought doing vertical exercises every day would mean better results, but I've heard people say that I will get no results and my vertical might even get worse. These statements are coming from experienced athletes, and now I'm very confused. When you were trying to achieve higher jumping abilities, did you train every day or a certain number of times per week? Well, that question can't be answered in a black and white way. There's not an either or. Take Flight 23. The first thing is, what kind of exercises are you doing? And don't answer that. Don't leave me a comment telling me what your workout is every day. Sometimes people leave me a comment or email. They tell me their entire workout and ask me to assess it. I never respond to those. So don't tell me what your workout is, because I don't care. First of all, the question you had to ask yourself is, what are you doing every day? So it's one thing when people say don't do a workout every day. It depends on what the workout is. And they're experienced athletes. So if I got a question for you, Take Flight 23. If experienced athletes are giving you some information, why are you questioning it? If they're experienced and obviously you respect their opinion, why don't you ask them what they're doing? Ask them what they did, and then just take what they did and try it and see if it works. Since obviously you respect what they're saying, you respect their position, and you respect their opinion, why are you still questioning everything? One of the reasons that a lot of people never get started on actually getting results, because every time they hear new information, they're like, oh, well, I don't know. Let me think about this. Let me question that. Let me look at this. Let me consider this. Let me go ask somebody else. Let me go watch another YouTube video. Let me buy another book. Let me go see what somebody else is doing. Let me go see what this dude in the NBA did. Now let me go ask somebody else. You got to decide what you want to do and take action. If you ask 1,000 people the same question, you'll get 1,000 different answers. At some point, you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, and stop thinking about it and go do something. As far as your question, with vertical workouts, the best way to improve your vertical is to have a comprehensive program for improving your vertical. Because if you just go and do exercises, let's say somebody tells you about some vertical exercises, some exercises to make your vertical better, and for whatever reason you trust and believe what they say. So they say leg press will help, and calf raise will help, and doing vertical box jumps will help, and doing a bench press will help, and whatever else. So that's one more exercise. Doing sprints will help, and running up bleacher steps will help. So you got those 5 exercises, and you just do those 5 every single day as much as you possibly can. It's not a comprehensive program. You're just doing random stuff and putting it together and hoping to get a result. Nothing's going to result from that. So first of all, you need to know exactly what you're doing. You need to know what the goal is and how exactly you can deconstruct that goal to make sure you get from point A to point B. And since you obviously don't know that, you need to get a program that does. And that program is the Jump Manual that comes from my guy Jacob Hilger. Is at dreallday.com/jump. That's JUMP, like vertical jump. That program is 12 weeks. It's comprehensive. It tells you exactly how to develop your vertical. It tells you exactly what to do, how many times to do it, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it, and when not to do it, because all of that factors in. So if you're just doing random stuff and taking random bits and pieces of information from random people, guess what your results are going to be? Random. If you want comprehensive program, you need to follow one thing, one person, one program. Jump manual. Next, Mr. Data Beats says, you've helped my game expand over the years, so good looks. Well, you're welcome. And he says, I want to know for somebody who wants to increase their shooting range. Well, I suggest players do a 1-2 step or a hop shooting motion, because I notice shooters like Curry and Durant tend to hop nowadays. I want to know if I should stick with traditional 1-2 or switch to the hop so I can determine which one is most efficient to improve my shot. Mr. Dada Beats, I really don't understand the basis of your question. Don't you play basketball? Don't you work on your game? Don't you go to the court all the time and practice? What is stopping you from practicing both ways to see what's working for you? The answer to your question is you need to try both and see what works for you. 1-2 or a hop is not necessarily, in black and white terms, better than the other. Neither one is better than the other way. There are players who do both. I've seen Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady do 1-2. I see Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant do hop, and I've seen each of those guys do the other way too. So there is no one way that's guaranteed. Oh, if you shoot this way, it's guaranteed you're going to be a great shooter, and if you shoot this way, it's guaranteed you won't. There are ways that work differently for each person, so you got to figure out what works for you. And the great thing about basketball for all you players out there is, since you already play, since you already work on your game, just go to the court and try these things out and find out. If you keep asking questions and polling people and watching this video and that video, and this guy said this and that guy said this and this NBA player did that, you're never going to get any results, because every time you see something different, you're going to want to change your mind. So all you got to do is go try the stuff out and see what works for you. In the end, you're probably going to find that there are times and situations where each one is better than the other. That's what I would say overall. So you need to actually use both so you can see when you can use either one, to the point that you'll be using either one instinctively based on the situation without having to think about it. That's the ultimate goal. Elijah Cardan says, can you tell me how to play aggressive defense without fouling? Well, you just do it. You play aggressive defense without fouling. You just basically explain the whole thing. Think about whoever your favorite defensive player is, Elijah, and just look up a video of that player playing defense here on YouTube, and you can watch what they're doing, so you can kind of get an idea of what the things that they're doing. But if I try to describe how to play aggressive defense in words, it wouldn't do it any justice. You wouldn't understand anything anyway. So why don't you go look at somebody doing it so you get a better idea. You can also look at the defense playlist that I got here on YouTube and see some of the stuff that I do defensively, where I have actual in-game video stuff, and a one-on-one series, also 5-on-5 series, where I show actual game video, and also drills that I show for actually playing defense. And the other thing is, like I said, look up your favorite player who plays defense and look how they're playing defense aggressively and not getting called for fouls. Next question, MJ Taylor says, I'm only 5'9", and I have a little team experience, and I want to try out for my D2 college team. Is there anything I can do to get better with being 5'9"? Well, the fact that you're 5'9" is not going to change, MJ Taylor. I mean, it's not going to change by anything that you do. Either you're going to grow or you're not. So what you can do is work on your game, and you already knew that. So I don't really understand what you're asking me. Rodney Petrie says, my ultimate goal is to make it to the NBA. I haven't played high school or AAU. I'm going to be a senior in high school, but in terms of determination and dedication, there are a few people as dedicated and determined as me. Now, before I get to the rest of his question, let me say something. I get about 10 messages a day from somebody telling me the exact same thing that Rodney says. So hopefully he has some actual substance to put in this besides telling me how good he is. Because listen, anybody can write down how good they are. All right, the proof is in your actual accomplishments, your achievements. What have you actually done? Now, the fact is, Rodney hasn't played high school or AAU, so he hasn't proved it yet, but he's telling me that he's good. So, you know what people usually do with a comment like that? It goes in one ear and out the other. Nobody believes you, Rodney, until you actually prove it. So you telling me that you're good is not doing you any favors. Next question. Actually, the rest of his question. So since I haven't played organized ball, what's the number one thing I can do to take my game to the next level and increase my chances of making it to the league, considering that he is 6'3", a good shooter, above average ball handler, and he can almost dunk? And he says, which he guessed makes him either a 1 or a 2 position guard, or maybe a 3, considering he's taller and skill-wise a more well-rounded player. A more well-rounded player. More well-rounded than who, Rodney? Because you haven't played any organized basketball. Now, you're talking about making it to the league. I think the first thing you should focus on, Rodney, is making it to the high school basketball team. The reason why I say that is because you're in high school. You're not in the NBA. You didn't even go to college yet. Focus on where you are. So many high school players these days come to me talking about the NBA and the D League and overseas. Like, yo, go do something where you at. If you ain't doing that in high school, you might not even get the opportunity to play in college, let alone play professionally. You got to perform at every level to move up to the next level. It's not, I'm going to jump from 14 at the end of the bench on JV to the NBA. Focus on where you are. If you don't perform where you at right now, the next opportunity is not going to happen. And then the next one is not going to happen. And then the next one is overseas, the D League, the NBA. You got to perform where you at. There's so many players. So you focus on 3 levels above where you at. You ain't even doing nothing at the level you at right now. So Rodney, you haven't played high school or AAU ball. He says, what's the number one thing he can do to take his game to the next level, increase his chances of making it to the league? All right, you want to increase your chance of making it to the league, Rodney? Forget about the league. All right, you want to make it to the league? Forget about college. You want to make it to college? Forget about AAU. Forget about getting recruited. Forget about a scholarship. Focus on making the basketball team this year, which is your senior year of high school. That's all you need to focus on. Focus on that. When that season is over, then you can focus on maybe making it to play in college. That's it. First of all, make the team in high school. Now, you told me that you want to play in the league. You said you're a good shooter, above average ball handler, you can almost dunk, and you're a well-rounded player. From where? Where did you prove any of this at? You're saying it, but where have you proven it at? You got to go and prove it. I can hear you talking about it. Like I said, I hear messages from people every day telling me how good they are. Don't nobody believe that shit. You got to go actually do it so that somebody knows. If you got to tell me in a message that you're good, then you probably aren't good. See, if somebody wants to tell me that they're good, just send me a link to your video. Actually, Don, I don't mean that literally. Don't send me no links to no YouTube videos. I don't even watch them highlight videos. Listen, don't send them to me. I'm not an agent. I'm not a scout. I'm not a coach, so I don't care about your highlight video. But don't tell me how good you are. Show me. Next question. Denzel Frazier says, why don't you play in the NBA? I get this question like all the time. The NBA is a job, so they didn't hire me. There's nothing else I can say about it. I don't know what other way to explain it. Matt DF says, I'm tall, strong, athletic. I'm going to 8th grade. I've been considered good just because I'm athletic. I'm looking to build my game around my athleticism as I look forward to high school. Any recommendations for a hoop handbook? I would say going into 8th grade, I don't know what your height is, but based on, and he also didn't say what position he plays. If you're an athletic player, just look through the programs that we have as far as signature workouts. By the time you see this video, we got 33 new signature workout programs coming. I didn't mention that at the beginning of the video. But so by the time all those come out, we're going to have over 80 NBA player signature workout programs out there. Just look up a player who's athletic, who has a similar game to what you want to develop, Matt. So the first question is, what type of game do you want to develop? And I can't really answer that for you. You have to decide what your game is going to be. So you look through the players that we offer and you say, which of these players has a skill set that's similar to the type of game that I want to have myself? So it doesn't mean you're going to play like that guy. The program is not going to make you turn into a Derrick Rose or a Kyrie Irving. You're not going to become them because there's only one them. I don't care what player they are, how much you practice. You're not going to be another person. You got to be the best version of yourself. So you ask yourself, what player's skill set do I want to add to my game? And you can read the descriptions of each program. We explain exactly what's in each program. So then you can decide. So as for athletic players off the top of my head, I mean, Kobe's athletic, Derrick Rose is athletic, Tracy McGrady, Paul George, Vince Carter. All these guys are athletic. So you got to figure out Steve Francis. You got to figure out what type of player you want to take the skill set from. Allen Iverson's another. Even a Stephon Marbury I consider athletic. Nate Robinson is coming out August 15th. And as far as those signature programs, we didn't even stop the pre-sale yet, which was supposed to end July 25th. We kept it going until we actually put everything out. We might keep it going, but it could end any single day because it was supposed to end like 5 days ago. So if you haven't taken advantage yet, you should before we take it down, because it could come down any moment now whenever we get around to taking them down. But we're keeping it up now as long as people are taking advantage. Next question. Mr. Underdog, have you thought of any new series to do on your channel? Yeah, I got a couple series going right now. I just haven't done a lot of recording because I've been doing a lot of other stuff business-wise the last couple weeks. I've been putting out a lot of the basketball content, which I've already recorded. But talking about videos like this where I'm just talking to y'all, I got a lot of stuff coming with that. Just haven't done a lot of recording the last couple weeks, but there are some new series on the way. So as long as you are subscribed and you're seeing the stuff I'm putting out, you'll hear about it. Next, Nicholas says, what do you think about the sweep and sway when shooting the long ball? Apparently, it's an important component to enhance your range. Well, really, I don't care about what anyone apparently thinks is important. All I focus on is what works for me. So if everybody else thinks it's important, then everybody else should be doing it. I don't know if you're trying to give me advice, Nicholas, or you're talking about yourself or something that you heard, but it doesn't really matter to me. All I focus on is what works for me. And the way that I know what works for me is not from what somebody says, not from what I read, but from when I get on the court and I actually try things out, I see what works for me. So I don't even have to listen to what nobody else says, because I can get on the court and I can see the results right there for myself. Black Jack says, how do I get open or get the ball more when I play pickup basketball? Go grab a rebound. That's one way to guarantee that you'll get the ball more, is grab rebounds. How do you get open? You probably need to play more basketball so you could kind of learn how to get open. For me to try to explain it in words, again, it wouldn't do it any justice. You wouldn't understand anything anyway. So go play basketball. Go join a basketball team that has a coach, so the coach can teach you these are things you can do in a game to get open, like moving to the open spots, moving to where the ball is, showing yourself to whoever has the ball so that they can pass it to you, learning how to seal off a defender, cutting off the ball, pass and cut away. Set a screen, get a screen. These are all types of things you can do to get the ball. So basically, I just answered your question. But if you don't know what any of that means, then how is it going to help you? So what you got to do is go play basketball. Next, Harold Lopez says, on some days I'm a great shooter, but then the next day I'm horrible. How can I fix this? Practice more. Next, Ahmed says, do you have any tips to improve stamina? Yes, I have a package at hoophandbook.com called Conditioning. So get that program and do the program. Luis says, thanks, Dre. You gave great advice. You're welcome, Luis. Next, Jordan says, does lifting weights affect your growth? I'm 5'10". I'm a sophomore who wants to play small forward. I'm lifting so I can improve my physicality, and people say that weightlifting can damage your knees and can affect growing. Well, Jordan, you got to decide, first of all, who you're going to listen to. People, or you going to listen to me, or you going to listen to a book, you're going to listen to a YouTuber, some other YouTuber, you're going to listen to something you saw on TV, some guy you met at the park last week, some guy you know from the rec, you listen to your brother, you listen to your mom. Who are you going to listen to, first of all, Jordan? Because I'll be wasting my time giving you information if all you're going to do is take it and go to somebody else and be like, well, these people said this and Dre Baldwin said that. Now, what do you say? And then you're going to get 10 different opinions. You still ain't going to know what to do because you're not going to know which one to pick. So first of all, who are you listening to, Jordan? Second of all, does lifting weights affect your growth? Yes, it affects your growth, because if you lift weights, you'll grow bigger because you'll have bigger muscles. So yes, it does affect your growth. That's not a really well defined question. I don't even think that's what you mean. I think you mean your height, since you mentioned next thing you say is that you're 5'10". As far as damaging your knees, yeah, lifting weights can damage your knees if you don't know what the hell you're doing. If you're working out and you don't have any type of supervision and you don't have proper form, yes, lifting weights can damage your knees. But if you know what you're doing, you have proper supervision, you have proper form, and you know what's going on, then lifting weights can make you stronger, it can make you bigger, it can make you a better performer, it can make you a better athlete. But it depends on what else is going on in between there. You're at point A, then you talk about point C, but that point B in the middle is information, form, supervision. Do you know exactly why you're lifting weights? What exactly are you trying to accomplish? And do you have a program? Do you know exactly what you're doing from week 1 to week 2, day 1 to day 2? If you don't, then that whole point B is missing. Then I can't really answer the point A to point C question, if you understand what I'm saying. If you want a strength training program, there is one on my website, hoophandbook.com. One of my websites, hoophandbook.com. We got the Ultimate Athlete and also the Position of Power program. Both of those are based around building the athletic body of a basketball player. Next question, Devonta. So I turned 13 4 days ago. Happy birthday, belated birthday. I'm 5'7", 122 pounds. I work out very often. Am I too big? How much should I be lifting? Well, Devonta, I don't know how big is too big. I have no idea. I don't know why you told me how much you weigh and how tall you are. I'm not one to determine what's too big. Too big is a relative term anyway, so you answer that question. Only person who could tell you if you're too big is you. Do you think you're too big? Maybe you do, since you're asking this question, but Devonta, you're damn 13 years old. You're too young to even be worried about that. Grow into your body first. Let 3 or 4 years pass before you start worrying about being too big or too small. Your body is still growing and developing. How much should you be lifting? Devontae, if you don't have proper supervision, proper form, proper technique, and somebody with you when you're touching a weight, don't even lift. Don't lift anything. So the answer to that is 0. You should be lifting none at all until you have proper supervision, you have proper form, and you know exactly what your goals are lifting weights, because you probably don't know at age 13. Let your body grow. If you want to do something to start working on your body, get the Ultimate Athlete, which requires no weights, no equipment, no facilities. Work on that so you develop a functional body weight strength base. That's what you need to do at that age. You don't need to be lifting at all. So the answer is 0. Next, David Stapleton. I'm a 14-year-old basketball player, and I can say I'm the best player in the 9th grade in my whole city. I don't know what city this is, but the school I go to doesn't have scouts. Therefore, my school is not giving people any exposure. So my friends that are in the same grade as me play AAU. They're getting recognized around the city while I'm putting in more work than them, not getting recognized. So my question is, do I need to go to AAU to get recognized? And do I need to get on AAU to go to the NBA? Here we go again. All right, first of all, David, you're 14. All right, so the NBA is not something you need to be worried about, because guess what? Until you perform in high school, you won't even play in college. And until you perform in college, then the NBA is not a possibility. So the first thing you need to do is focus on playing in 9th grade where you are. So if you don't do nothing in 9th grade, then you might not even be on a team in 10th grade. So go perform where you at, which is 9th grade. Second thing is this. Just by deductive reasoning, David, you already answered your own question. You said your friends, and we'll just assume, everyone, that everything David says is 100% accurate. His friends who are also his same age, they play AAU and they're getting recognized. He doesn't play AAU and he's not getting recognized. So by deductive reasoning, David, if you want to get recognized, what do you need to do? We're going to use the Socratic method here, which is me asking you questions and letting you figure it out for yourself. But you already had it figured out, David. So this is another one of those, somebody asking me advice when they already know what they need to do. If you really believe this is true, everything that you said, and everything you said is 100% accurate, then there's only one response to that, and you already know it, so I'm not even going to say it. But as far as getting recognized and going to the NBA, there's nothing you can do right now to go to the NBA, David, because you're 14. So it's another 6, 7, 8 years before you could go to the NBA. You know what you need to do during those 6, 7, 8 years? Perform. So that's what you need to do. You need to keep performing. So if you're the best player in 9th grade in your whole city, then guess what? You should be the best player in 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and then in college, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or however many years. Maybe you'll be super and you'll leave college after your freshman year and go to the league. So let's say that's at least 5 years that you need to perform before any of that matters. So what you need to do as far as the NBA goes is perform for the next 5 years. And once you get to that point, the NBA will be coming to you. You won't even have to worry about what to do. Next question. Ramhar Gav says, I live in Asia. How do I get scouted for a scholarship? And by having game and getting somebody to pay attention to you. Brandon says, I was wondering if you knew any balancing drills that I can try, because balance is something that I struggle with a lot. Yes, we have that in the Ultimate Athlete program at hoophandbook.com. Michael Patterson says, when I jump off one leg, I can dunk. When I jump off 2 legs, I can get up, but I can't hold on to the ball. Any tips? Yeah, hold on to the ball. I mean, what tips can I give somebody to hold on to a basketball? You know how to hold a ball, right? You have hands, don't you? Hold on to the ball and dunk it. If you can't hold on to the ball, it's probably because you can't jump high enough. So you need to jump higher, which is jump manual. DreAllDay.com/jump. Next, Muhammad Arif says, sometimes I get nervous playing ball with people who are nice, and it throws off my game. I become less confident. I miss easy shots. Do I have any tips for him to overcome this and play to his full potential? Well, yes, I have a video where I talk about I have a lot of videos where I talk about the mental side of the game. So as far as getting yourself in your proper zone mentally before a game or tryouts, I have a video where I talk about the killer instinct, a video where I talk about my personal ways that I've gotten ready for games at certain time periods, and my entire motivational / mental game playlist is 2 playlists with over 300 videos in it. So check both of those out. Next, Joey Kim, he replied to some comment from last week's Q&A. Don't know what it was, so we'll go to the next one. The Raw Wilder says, I'm a baseball player, but I use your channel for motivation. I could possibly be going D1 in baseball, and I gotta say thanks, my dude. Well, congratulations to Roll. I'm glad to hear people outside of basketball find value in what I'm putting out, so I'm glad to hear that. Next, Cameron Gilbert says, I know this is not related to the video, but I'm starting to work on my vert, and here's my workout program I'm going to start with. So I just mentioned this. People tell me their whole workout program, and they want me to assess it. I don't do this, so I'm not going to read what his workout program is because it's not relevant. And he says, I hope it helps. Well, he didn't even ask a question. He just told me what his workout program was. So next question. John Smith says, does practicing too much mess up your game when you play against real ball players? I didn't know there was a such thing as practicing too much, John. I mean, practice is what makes perfect, right? Isn't that the cliche? So I don't think there's a such thing as practicing too much. But again, everything ain't for everybody. So if somebody thinks practicing less helps them, then that's what they should be doing. It's not for me to tell somebody else how much they need to practice. Everybody has to decide how much they need to do to get to where they want to go. And that's each person's decision. Next, Jesse says, I love your videos. And for my school, we had to make a goal. My goal was to dunk. I've improved my vertical by 5 inches already. Well, congratulations, Jesse. So thank you for your motivational videos and your jumping videos. They've helped me. Excellent. And his question is, how do I deal with losing? We were doing well to start the season, and we lost a bunch of games. He got injured. They're only 3 weeks away from finals. We had to win all the games. He wants some advice on how to lead a team. He considers himself a leader. His coach also considers him a leader. But he wants to know how to help his teammates motivate them because they're always morbid on the court. He feels he needs to change their attitude to help themselves and to help himself with a basketball, to help them and to help himself with a basketball career. Well, first of all, Jesse, what you can do is look at my videos where the mental/motivational playlist, where I have over 300 videos on the topic of motivation and the mental game. So you got a lot to choose from there. And also, as far as leadership goes, you can't really make other people do different things. You can't force another person to change their attitude or change their behavior. The only thing you can do is, like you said, which is lead. And the way that you lead is the first thing you have to do is set an example. Because people don't follow what they're told. They follow what they see. So people are going to follow you when they see that your actions are what they should follow. So you have to set the example, Jesse. So if you think your teammates are morbid and they're not going hard enough, then you set the example. You stand up top and you set the example up there and pull them up with you. So you figure out how to communicate with each person because every individual is different. Communicate with them in a way that pulls them up. And that's a skill that you develop over time by dealing with more and more people. So use this experience that you're going through now, whether it ends up where you want it or even if you come up short, use it as a learning experience so you learn how to deal with people. And a lot of that you can get not only from playing, but also in the videos that I talk about and also videos other people talk about. If you look at somebody like a Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, Jack Canfield, all these guys you can look up on YouTube. They got a lot of audio programs out there. A lot of their audio programs are for sale, but a lot of the stuff you can get on YouTube because people just post it online. So you can watch hundreds of hours of all those people I just mentioned on YouTube for free and a bunch of other people. And you also buy books. I think books are also very valuable from those exact same authors. You go to my website, dreallday.com. On the guides and tips page, I have a link to recommended reading lists. All the types of books that I read, that I have read, that I recommend to other people on certain topics. Leadership is one of those topics. So go read those books that I list right there. Get them, read them, use the highlighter so you can go back over them. And then listen to the audio tapes of those same authors because all of them have audio tapes out that you can listen to for free on YouTube. So you can learn. So you might not necessarily be able to make them improve their performance in the next 3 games, but everything's going to be a stepping stone and learning experience for you, Jesse, moving on to the next level. Next, Carmelo A7. I'm in 8th grade. I'm having trouble with my jump shot. So he has 2 questions. How do I stop using my thumb when I'm shooting? And the second one is, how does my release have to be over my head at my age? He says, I make a lot of shots. I don't have a problem getting the ball in. I just want to know how to change my habits. Well, first thing I would say, Carmelo, is that I'm not a shooting coach, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is the way you need to shoot. And I don't even subscribe to everybody needs to shoot a certain way because that's the way that works. I know there are people out there who say that. I know a lot of y'all like to regurgitate what they say, even though you don't have any results to prove it. But listen, what I'm going to say is you can go look at that resource. One resource that I like is the Pro Shot Shooting Handbook, which I give out for free on my website, dreallday.com/list, LIST, where it's 150 pages where it talks all about shooting. It addresses both of the questions that you just mentioned. And you talked about your release over your head at your age, but you don't say how old you are. You say you're in 8th grade, so I guess you're 13, 14 years old, something like that. So overall, when it comes to shooting, my philosophy is the object is to put the ball in the basket. So if the ball's going in, I don't have a problem with somebody's shot. But again, like I said, I know a lot of y'all listen to a lot of other people talk about shooting, and you read and you listen to the videos and you watch and you said Stephen Curry did this and Michael Jordan did that and Kobe did this, and you can regurgitate all the information that everybody else says, but then you're not out there doing it or proving it or teaching it to nobody. But everybody knows all the facts, quote unquote facts. So just get the information straight from the source. Pro Shot Shooting Handbook, they have a really good comprehensive explanation of every area of shooting. So I think you should get your information from them. Next, Emmanuel Tavares says, what's your favorite basketball shoe to play in? My favorite shoe ever, I would say the original Nike Hyperdome 2008. Right now, my favorite shoe, I would go with the Jordan 29. Next, Lou McCants says, what do you do in pickup when dudes start getting chippy and try to fight when they're not as good as you? I only got one outdoor court close to me where I live in North Carolina, and the regulars there start making up bullshit every time they're close to losing, or they try to fight you if you try to steal the ball from them, or they feel like they're getting embarrassed by losing. I know part of that comes with the territory and pickup, but they take it too far. Should I just stop playing pickup and focus on practicing on my own? Well, Lou, that's one way of looking at it. You could just stop playing pickup to avoid being in that situation. Another way is, I don't know you personally. I don't know those guys who you're dealing with. I know not everybody is the type of person who likes to go towards conflict. Now, you might get in a situation where you might have to physically defend yourself from one of those guys. Now, maybe that's just not who you are. It's not your personality, but it is part of the game that can happen depending on who you're playing against. If that's the only place you have to play, you might end up in a situation where you might have to do that. And I think it will make you better in the long run, even if you got to get in a fight that you lose at this point. But if you think it's not worth it, that's not you, that's not what you want to do, that doesn't make you any less of a man, doesn't make you soft or nothing like that, then yeah, you can stop playing there and just practice. But you have to make that choice. Or you could try to find another court that's around you. But again, I don't know your area like you do, so maybe you're right. Maybe that's the only courts you got. Maybe you would have to get away from them if you think it's putting you in a situation that you don't want to be in. Next, F the Police. He says, I play ball, I want to be really good, but I play so damn slow, like when I dribble. I try to drive, I get stuck, and then I just end up passing the ball. I have trouble getting in for an easy layup, and when I get in the paint, I try to do moves, but my game's so predictable, I'm not creative with the ball. I can't cross anybody over to get easy lanes to the basket. I hate it because I'm so slow. The defense always stops me. I feel like quitting. Too many games has always been the same ever since junior high, and I'm about to be in 12th grade. I feel like I play like a 5th grader. How sad. Well, he actually didn't even ask me a question. All he did was just give me all these reasons why he feels sorry for himself. Well, the reason why, F the Police, you aren't getting any results is because you keep perpetuating the feelings of feeling sorry for yourself. So as long as you feel like that, you're going to continue to be a not good basketball player, which is basically what you described yourself as. So you need to get yourself out of that. Watch my motivation/mental game video series where I got over 300 videos. Just put it on repeat and watch all of them because you need the whole thing. Next, last question. Amir Clayto Day says, if you're already in shape, how many times a week should a player do a conditioning only workout? There's not really a should to it, Amir. If you know what type of shape that you want to get into, you'll know when you get there. So all you would have to do is do conditioning until you get to that point. And then once you get to that point, here's the thing, you got to keep doing it so you stay in shape. And you already know what type of conditioning you need to do because you played basketball before, obviously. So you pretty much have answered your own question. So work out until you get to the shape you want to be in, and then keep working out so you can maintain it. And that's it, everybody. Y'all came with some really good questions this week. You got a good thought out question that are on the level of the questions we had this week, leave them in the comments to this video. We'll address it next week. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Again, hoophandbook.com. Those 33 new signature programs are on pre-order right now, but I might take them off by the time you see this, so don't bullshit and waste time and then wonder why they ain't up there no more. That's it. That's all. Work on your fucking game. DreAllDay.com. Thanks for checking out this video. Make sure you follow all my top content up here. Follow me on all your favorite social networks right over here. And make sure you are subscribed to catch all the new content I put on this channel every single day. Work on your game.